So we know in South Africa that there isn't a government safety net that's waiting for employees like there are in some other countries of the world. So the company-sponsored retirement funds are usually the main or the key investment that these members have as an investment in their financial future. So there's a great responsibility that sits with us as the industry and as the trustees as well. So one of the questions I think is quite important to ask when we're talking about communication is, what stories are we actually telling? So what type of communication are we sending out? So what's the narrative? Are we talking in our communication about short-term fears, things like Brexit, market corrections, or are we communicating to our members and focusing their minds on their long-term investment goals and the long-term strategy that they do have when it comes to their retirement funds? So I think that's quite an important question to ask. One thing's for certain, and we know that engagement is definitely poor, and we hope and we try to inspire that trustees are doing their best to create the best possible environment for their members. One thing we know from the behavioral research that has been done is that choice leads to stress and hence disengagement, and that unfortunately does put members off from the entire retirement funding space. We believe that the communication that gets set out should at least meet the following criteria. First and foremost, members should at least be able to recognize and understand why, in fact, we're communicating with them in the first place. It should be clear to them to understand why that's happening. Secondly, quite obviously, it should be simple and understandable to members rather than complex and riddled with an overload of choices. We should be able to demonstrate the compelling value proposition in the retirement fund, and hopefully that comes across to the members as well. And lastly, and possibly for me most importantly, all information should be as transparent and as accessible as possible to build the trust that we need to do with our employees and our members.